Satnam, offering a general reading. Satnam means the truth within. So the truth is within you. Please take what resonates and dismiss the rest. And what I'm getting is it's time. It's time to have that honest conversation. And it might be with another human, but I'm getting that honest conversation is with yourself. So, and with spirit. So whether it's your ancestors you speak to, your guides, source, however you define it, your higher self, and having that regular conversation is what they're urging, to make it a practice. And learning meditation and going and sitting with the monks, sometimes there are the teachings that are shared, and sometimes it's silence. We sit, and it's very easy to sit with the inner dialogue. So you might be running the same program in your meditation, and it's just mirroring itself out in the world as you go about your day. So taking time to sift, or psychic medium Erica Marks, or the intuitive medium, sorry Erica, she had this meditation that was really good, where you would just take all of your concerns for the moment and just put it in a bag and put it beside. And so you could open that up and go to it later, because sometimes our brain gets worried. Oh, we can't leave that thought beside, to the side. We need to tend to it. So just kind of honoring that moment where you can just, okay, wait. This can wait. No different than okay, if you have a toddler, mom's got to take a shower, sit to the side, you do XYZ, mom's going to take a shower, whatever. That's just an example. And then having that honest dialogue. And I was also getting, be willing to walk away. It's that, and that card came up in one of the last readings, is that sometimes we do need to make room for something new. And something could feel heavy that you need to release, to lighten your load, to keep going. Or something might be calling deeper inside that you really want to attend to, that you really want to give your energy to, so that you can build it. But if your energy is still tethered to something in the past, it doesn't have that space. It drains you away from that forward momentum that is being offered to you. So take that as it resonates. And I was getting to, and I'm not saying to think like this, it's just a joke. Margaret Cho had a little bit about relationships, and she's like, that point in a relationship where you're the only one that knows that it's over, and how difficult that can be. And she's making jokes about it, about how hard. I'm not even going to say the joke because it's inappropriate. You can look that on up. I can't even say it. But sorry, I was just thinking about it. So she also goes on to say, aside from that, that resentment that builds, that inner anger, sometimes you need to get angry with yourself for keeping yourself stagnant, but that frustration in that connection because things just aren't going as they should. But she goes on to say, you want to break up, but then you you want your birthday present first, or you just bought concert tickets. And I'm not saying live by that. What I'm saying is, how are you talking yourself out of a change, and using that as an example. I hope that all came out right. So let's move to the cards. I have a couple decks that I'm not completely familiar with. So I got, I think this is the Wisdom Seekers Tarot. This is a gift. Thank you so much. And Mr. Rogers playing card deck. And I did not watch Mr. Rogers as a child, so you might be able to get more out of this than I do, or that I'm able to share. So listen, and if something calls to your attention, or you can read more into what I say or share, or a card, or more than I speak to, explore that. That's the gift of a general reading, is it's just a nugget. And then if it works for you, you explore it. If not, you're oh, it's up to you. And yeah, I didn't watch Mr. Rogers as a child. And this is on the back of the card. It says, "Won't you be my neighbor?" So Queen of Wands. This depiction is beautiful. The uniqueness that is you, just honoring that. And Carrie, I was listening to one of her readings on IGTV. I'll have to link her below so you can follow her, because she does love readings as well. And she used the term like the Queen of Wands. I think it was her being like that bitch. Like, don't be afraid to like stand in your power and stand as your in your I'm messing up my words. Being definitive is what wants to come through. And even if it is calling in something new, like Brene Brown talks about in one of her talks about the sweaty creatives, is like she wants to put something new out in the world that hasn't been there before. I totally get that. And being an artist takes courage, right? Especially if, you know, if we look at art history, different, the words not coming to me, but like, you know, when Impressionism began, or I'm giving the word calligraphy. But when you're starting a new form, like when it's on the brink of it, you're a front runner, and not being afraid to explore something new within yourself, something new within your family structure, your workplace, wherever it is for you, allowing yourself to be that divine light. And we're not saying like toot your horn and brag about it. We're saying be that. And patience. Have patience with yourself, and be patient with those around you. And I'm totally guilty of this, is sometimes people aren't always on board with what you have to offer. And sometimes it's because those aren't your people. And then sometimes it's because you have to nurture that idea along. You've planted the seed within yourself, and you have that passion behind you, this Queen of Wands energy, to nurture it. But then as you plant the seed, it takes time to water it. It takes time to work with the other energies, like Magician card, to bring it into fruition, and bringing your whole team on board with what you're doing. Like, your guides are on board nudging you, and they probably took a while to nudge you. Think how you had to get beyond your fears. And then when you serve this up to someone else, you might need to, I'm not saying like coax them along, but just be mindful. Be mindful. Interesting thought, since we're looking at what you be my neighbor. Building community. There we go. Building your soul tribe. Maybe that's starting to come together for you. Excuse me, I know you're starting a trip. I did not put any. Yeah, I started carrying a hanky, or like carrying like I have that around. My grandpa always had that. When I was taking care of him, I would always I'd go and take care of him on the weekends when I could. And then when I come home, I'd like have his handkerchief in my pocket or something, because I always had to have it, so he needed it. So it's special to have one now. But I have a purple one. I don't know why I'm blind around this. Thanks for listening. Hopefully you found a nugget in there. Wait, give it time. They're saying wait, give it time. 9 of Wands, 9 of Clubs. Sit with the idea. Put it on like you put on a hat. It's like when you go to the store and you're like, try on an outfit. You're like, does this fit? Does it not? Okay. They like me being vulnerable and sharing all my business with you. Okay. I had the hardest time trying on pants, jeans, because my negative self-talk tape would come in. And so when it came to buying pants, I'd be like, I found all the reasons why I didn't look good in these jeans, right? And so then that halted everything. And that's just an example. Think about that one piece, that one evidence you give yourself that you're not good enough. and how that energetically transforms the way you look at yourself, how it transforms the experience and the trajectory going forward, which fits with this. Two of Spades. So going back and forth between the truth and the reality and that energy, this keeps you stagnant. This is like a standstill where you have that opportunity. The Nine of Wands, think of that as like your wounds that you could either transform into lessons, or those wounds that can stagnate you and actually perpetuate cycles of self-abuse or abuse that were given to you. You don't have to keep those patterns like that. That was an opportunity for you to learn and grow, but it's up to you what you do with it. Divine support. So Spirit is helping you, Spirit is guiding you, Spirit is nudging you. And I remember one time, and I've heard this before, of like readers being false, out for money. And I was at a yard sale, and you know, something just caught my attention that was on the side of the road. So I did a U-turn, but I was also on my way home from either a workshop, or I don't know if I was teaching or taking, but I was all in white, head to toe, head covering and all. And so, of course, I stand out and then began a dialogue about me a little bit. And I had said that I was a card reader or something like that. Somehow we got in that. And she was like, she wasn't sure about the magic. She wasn't sure, not only, you know, are readers false? Are they out for money, right? Or was there integrity there? And one of the things that hit her so hard was her own wounds. How could, if there is a God, if there is divine out there, how could they allow this to happen? And I think part of it is shifting from victim mentality, I'm sorry to get heavy, but trusting that there's a bigger picture, a bigger plan. And I think it's easier for me sometimes to look at those wounds and those experiences to think in terms of lifetimes and cycles, but also for me and perhaps others that it is about rising up and accepting the challenge to grow from it. Is that I'm not stuck, I'm not adhered this mold. Like if you're making cookies, you're making bread, it doesn't have to look one way. You can design it however you want. Think about how people design cakes now. It's so creative, it's so beautiful. Think about where we've gone with chocolate or ice carvings. Like it doesn't have to be a square. And you use the energy within yourself to transform what was to what's possible, and somehow letting go and making peace. And my daughter spoke to this the other day, like in Forrest Gump. You know, and Lieutenant Dan having that moment with God, that conversation with God, and making peace with his experience. And then you have Forrest Gump, who's going through the world doing what he does, and he's like, I didn't know I was supposed to be looking for Jesus. I don't know, but bottom deck energy is inner knowing. 17 distilling to 8. There's infinite wisdom within you. Keep looking, keep seeking, and keep trusting. Setna.